women you'll meet in this book all use their unique circumstances, skill sets, and stories to move themselves forward and achieve success on their own terms. They worked with what they had to create the lives they've always wanted. Through their stories, they're going to show you how to do this for yourself, too. Let's start with a story from yours truly of how I was able to work it to grow my business, my network of women, and my net worth. This is the story of all the social ladies. 999,998, 999,999, refresh, refresh, refresh. 1 million downloads. There I was sitting in my car, having just pulled into my driveway after taking what felt like the 10,000th trip to the orthodontist with my kids. The podcast I had started 2 years prior had just hit 1 million downloads. I didn't know how to feel, especially since originally I didn't care if a single person listened at all. You see, this whole thing began 2 years earlier when I decided to launch a podcast called All the Social Ladies. I didn't start it because I loved Beyoncé, although I definitely do. Really, it was because of two key insights I've learned about myself over the years. First, I am a connector. I can find something in common with every single person in a room, and I can also figure out a way to help just about all of them in some capacity. More important, I love doing this. Because of that, and probably because I tend to come across as friendly and non-intimidating, people have generally labeled me as universally likable. It's taken me years to be able to say that, let alone accept that people genuinely seem to like me pretty much instantly. But I finally learned to stop dismissing it and embrace it as a positive quality. After all, it's part of what made me such a good salesperson throughout my career. The second important thing I've learned is that I find all of that people energy, socializing and connecting, i.e. the stuff that makes me good at what I do, exhausting. It turns out I'm an introvert in disguise. I've spent most of my life denying this fact. After all, when you're told over and over that you're gifted at being universally considered likable, you need to run with it and fast. I was running away from facing and dealing with this paradox that I felt. For most of my career and life, I found myself stopping every hour or so to take a bathroom break. Only I wasn't going to pee or fix my hair. I was taking breaks to hide from people and for a much-needed breather from the effort I was exerting to connect with them. And the entire time I was hiding, I was berating myself for needing to. Yep. No matter how many times I give myself the famous speech from The Help, you is kind, you is smart, you is important, I still can't fully silence my inner self-critic. My guess is a lot of you struggle with that too. So what the heck do these things have to do with creating a podcast named after a Beyoncé song? Let me explain. My husband Dave and I launched our agency Likeable Media in 2007. We were in the right place at the right time, really, because we had decided to start a business that created social media content for companies during a year when social media was exploding. Dave was the CEO, and I was his number two. Likeable Media quickly became one of the fastest growing companies in the United States. 6 years later, when Dave launched a new company, I became the CEO by default. I'd love to tell you about how excited I was to be a woman at the helm of this rapidly growing organization in a fast-paced industry. But it wasn't like that at all, at least not at the time. After an incredible ride from startup to established business under Dave's leadership, times had changed. The market for social media agencies was now crowded, and brands were taking their social media management in-house. Also, we had been so busy growing over the past 6 years, we hadn't figured out how to ensure that the business could actually turn a profit. On top of all of that, the heads of other social media agencies were pretty much all the same. Loud, extroverted, and male. So there I was, CEO of a company that had initially been heralded as a rising star in social media, hiding and watching it plateau with no clue how to move it forward in the changing times. I had two options to choose from. I could either beg Dave to come back. After all, he's loud, he's extroverted, and he's male, so he'd surely know what to do better than I would. Or I could own this and do something different. Suddenly it occurred to me, if I felt annoyed by the constant self-promotion of these chest-beating thought leaders, maybe I wasn't alone. Maybe other women, maybe even potential future clients,